clay tablet was found still inside the oven. It was being baked to preserve a message that never got sent. The scribe who wrote it didn't have time to take it out. Because the roof of the palace collapsed on top of him, the message read, "My father, behold, the enemy's ships came. My cities were burned, and they did evil things in my country." 1177 BC. This is the moment the lights went out, not just for one city, but for the entire civilized world. To understand the horror of the collapse, you have to understand the height of the fall. The late Bronze Age was a globalized world. Egypt, the Hittites, the Mycenaeans, and the Babylonians were tightly connected. It was a supply chain as complex as our own. They shipped tin from Afghanistan and copper from Cyprus to forge the bronze that ran their empires. Kings wrote to each other like brothers. They married into each other's families. There was a diplomatic balance of power. They thought they were too big to fail. But complexity is not strength. Complexity is fragility. It started with the climate. Decades of mega droughts hit the Aegean. The crops failed. The food network strained. When the grains stopped flowing, the social contract broke. Internal rebellions ignited. The palaces weren't just protecting the kings from invaders, they were protecting them from their own people. And then the final blow. The Sea Peoples. History often paints them as a unified army, but they were something scarier. A mass migration of desperate refugees. They swept down the coast. The Hittite Empire, a superpower for centuries, vanished from history. Hattusa was burned to the ground. Cyprus fell. Mycenae fell. The dominoes were clicking faster now. Only Egypt held the line. Pharaoh Ramses III defeated them at the Delta, but the victory cost him everything. The treasury was empty. The trade routes were dead. This is the system's collapse. Without tin, you can't make bronze. Without bronze, you can't arm soldiers or plow fields. The international economy evaporated. Cities that relied on imports starved within weeks. The population of Greece dropped by 75%. But the greatest loss wasn't gold or grain. It was memory. The script used by the Mycenaeans, Linear B, disappeared. Within one generation, the people living in the ruins of the palaces had forgotten who built them. They thought giants must have moved the stones. It took humanity 300 years to recover. We call this the Greek Dark Ages. Literacy, architecture, and statecraft simply forgotten. Civilization isn't a permanent state. It's a fragile agreement. And in 1177 BC, we learned just how easily the agreement can be broken.